All right, let's get right into it. Something huge just came out of Google's DeepMind team. They've built an AI that can decode our entire genetic blueprint. And what it's finding, well, it could change biology forever.
Just let that sink in for a second. For decades, the vast majority of our own instruction manual, the code that literally builds us, was completely unreadable. It was like this giant biological black box that we knew was important, but we had no idea what was inside.
And look, this wasn't some minor issue. This was the central puzzle that has stumped biologists for generations. We called it the dark genome, and we knew it was crucial, but we had absolutely no way of understanding what it was telling us.
To really get the scale of this, think of it like this. For years, it's as if we were handed a 3 billion-page manual on how to build a human being. But it was written in a language nobody on Earth could read. That was our reality. And now, all of a sudden, we have an AI that can read the entire book from cover to cover.
You know, even our biggest achievement in genetics, the Human Genome Project, had this massive limitation. It was kind of like putting together a giant jigsaw puzzle, only to find that most of the pieces were just blank. We could see the individual letters of the code, but we couldn't make out the words or sentences.
So how did we finally crack this thing? Well, this is where the hero of our story comes in. A seriously powerful new AI tool that is finally solving this massive genetic mystery. It's called AlphaGenome, and the key word there, the one that changes everything, is understanding. This isn't just some super fast scanner. No, this is an AI that actually comprehends the language of DNA. It gets the context, the grammar, the real impact of every single genetic letter. And the scale it operates on is just mind-boggling. Get this, AlphaGenome can process 1 million letters of our DNA at once, and it does it without making a single error. The power and precision are just on another level entirely.
So you're probably wondering, how does it do that? Well, at its core, it's built on the same kind of technology that powers tools we all know, like ChatGPT. But here's the twist. Instead of being trained on all the text on the internet, it was trained on massive, specialized databases of genetic information. It's basically fluent in the language of biology.
To really appreciate what a giant leap this is, think about this. Before, if a scientist wanted to figure out what would happen if just one tiny letter in our 3 billion letter code was different, it would take them months and months of painstaking work in a lab.
AlphaGenome does it in seconds. Yeah, months of work just gone, compressed into a moment. You can change one letter of the code, and this AI can predict almost instantly how that tiny change will ripple through your entire body. It's an absolutely unbelievable speedup. And hey, this isn't just theory. It's already being used. Researchers have used AlphaGenome to zero in on the specific mutations that cause certain cancers. A process that used to take years of searching can now be done incredibly fast. We're talking about something that could save countless lives. But, and there's always a but with this kind of power, right? This kind of unprecedented ability also brings up some really profound, really serious questions. We've cracked the code of life, sure, but now we're facing a whole new kind of challenge. And this is the big one. This is the question that all of us have to start thinking about. When the most private, fundamental information about who you are, your genetic code, becomes this easy to read, what are the consequences? What happens next?
I mean, on the one hand, the promise is just incredible. Imagine doctors spotting genetic diseases decades before symptoms even show up, or medicine tailored perfectly to your unique DNA. But the flip side, the peril, is just as real. Could insurance companies deny you coverage because of a risk a computer predicted? Could employers screen out job applicants based on their DNA? And of course, there's the whole idea of designer babies, tweaking genes to choose traits, which could create a brand new biological divide in society.
And listen, this is not some far-off sci-fi future. Google is making this tool free for scientists to use in their research. Now, that's amazing for science, but it also means we have to deal with these ethical questions right now. The technology is here, and our society, our laws, they need to catch up, and they need to do it fast.
So that brings us to the final part of this. You could say we've solved the hard scientific puzzle, but now we face a much harder challenge, a human one.
Let's just stop and think about what that really means. For the very first time in the history of this planet, we are watching a non-biological intelligence become fluent in the fundamental language of biology. This is, without a doubt, a monumental turning point for our species.
And that really is the ultimate question this whole thing leaves us with, isn't it? The instruction manual for building a human being is finally open on the table. We can read it, we can understand it. The only question left now is, what do we do with it?